friends, so sorry I haven't been able to post the last few days. I got sick once more with this weird headache, queasy, feeling like I was on a ship all the time. I don't know what it was, but I know it was tough. And I know a lot of you are going through stuff. Maybe it's not physical, but mine wasn't also just physical. It felt then emotional, mental, spiritual, like all of it. Doesn't it feel like sometimes when we're physically ill, that's when it just feels like all of our defenses are down, and that's when it feels like the enemy preys on us even more, and we can just feel like we're warring with some stuff. And then if you're like me and you're human and you don't always approach things with faith and belief like you want, then on top of all those other messy emotions and feelings, doubt can just come and just wallop you. And then out of that doubt, then shame, because how could you once more doubt God? And then there's just big huge mountain, it feels like, of shame comes on you, and then you just feel like, what on earth, God? Like you just feel at a loss. But he's reminded me right now that he is the God that sees all of it, and he cares, and he knows. And even if we feel inside, outside, upside down side, topsy-turvy, crazy all the time, yet still does he love us. So friend, I just wanted to get on and encourage you. If maybe you're going through something and you felt like you wanted to approach it with more faith than you felt like you could muster at the moment, that God still loves you. He is not giving up on you. He is not abandoning you, throwing in the towel. That he loves you. And like I said in some of my other videos, that he understands our humanness. He sees us, and he's made allowance for that. And I think of the movie Inside Out too, that I had just watched with my daughter a couple weeks ago, and how there was a lot of emotions going on inside of that preteen girl. And we can feel like that sometimes. There's just so many different emotions, and it does feel crazy and out of control. And we don't sometimes even know who we are in that moment, whether we're preteen or premenopausal like me. Like, it can be a crazy life, can't it? And then we beat ourselves up, we don't know who we are, and then we start living out of that place of that not knowing. And in that movie, if you haven't watched it, a thing that really stood out to me was she was, learning who she was, and that foundation of who she was had started to kind of crack, because she didn't know if she was good anymore or kind anymore. And then there was this emotion, joy, that wanted to suppress all the other emotions, and this other emotion that came in, and it suppressed all the other emotions. And I was just thinking when I was watching that movie, like, that's what I do so many times, don't I, God? Is I suppress things, or I try to forget. And so Joy was going and taking all the bad memories, all the things that the girl had done or been done to her, and had maybe chosen out of that a not great thing. She went and she just took that and put it in this no memory, no remembering land. And sometimes I think we can do that. We can suppress emotions that then we try to pretend that we're this perfect person, and we don't feel all these feelings, right? But in the end of the movie, Joy realized that everything that we go through and everything we experience, and even the choices we make, it makes us who we are. And we are this crazy kind of beautiful. But yeah, sometimes we're sad, sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're down. But that's okay. It makes us who we are. And that kind of just, this little kid movie reminded me that we don't have to be perfect in order to be worthy and loved. As she accepted herself, good and bad, this girl in this movie, she just blossomed and she bloomed, and she became everything she always could be. So friend, if that's you that just feels a little topsy-turvy and you just feel down on yourself, because how could you feel all these crazy emotions? One minute you're happy and you're soaring, and 1 minute you're depressed and sad, and then you're angry, and then you're disappointed, and then you just don't want to care anymore. We all have that. We all go through that, no matter our age. Sometimes we do get better at regulating our emotions and dealing with things, but then you'll notice when you have that sickness or physical thing that comes in, it can make us feel a little bit, again, topsy-turvy, like we're just not able to control all these emotions, or we shoved those emotions down a little bit too long, and now they just all came out like a volcanic eruption. But whatever it is, friend, God's got you. God loves you. He has given you more than enough room to be human. He's okay with it. And when you come back and you just climb onto his lap and you say, God, I don't even know who I am anymore. I feel so upside, downside, inside, outside. He's going to remind you, beautiful, who you are and whose you are, and that you're going to be okay, and that everything that you endured, everything you went through, every choice you made, it made you who you are. And you are beautiful, beautifully broken sometimes. I think that's the hardest part in life, that we feel like we have to be perfect, and perfect means unbroken, unscarred, unmarred. But that's a lie. God reminded me of rubies and precious gems, and how sometimes precious gems are even more valuable and have this just amazing worth because of their imperfections, their inclusions. They're called in gems. So friend, get that idea that you have to be perfect and without doubt and without fear and without pain, without sadness and depression and all this stuff out of your mind. You're human, and that's okay. You just run to God, and he's going to remind you of a few things, and he's going to remind you that you are going to be okay, and that all of that crazy stuff that you went through and all the crazy stuff that you've experienced and you lived through, it can have a beautiful purpose, friend. You can one day be looking through a screen or looking at someone face to face and remind them that they're not alone, and that we're all just a little bit crazy ourselves, and that's okay, and that God loves us anyway. Friend, I love you, and way more importantly, God loves you, and you are. You're going to be okay. You're going to get through this, and one day you're going to see that you don't got to be perfect in order to be loved, and that all those things that you endured, yeah, it was hard and it was tough, but it made you who you are, and you are beautiful, and you are worthy, and I love you so very much.